Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Thomas on the Corporatist. Now I'll show you some effective tips and tricks for beginners of Tom Clancy's The Division. Let's go! So you've just started the game. What now? Well, as you probably know, if you've played the game longer than 10 minutes, you get the base of operations with 3 wings you can upgrade. You get supplies for those wings by doing medical missions for the medical wing, technical missions for the tech wing, and security missions for the security wing. Now the first thing I want you to do is follow the story. Just do what you're told to do and finish the medicine hospital mission. You will be asked to upgrade the medical wing, which you should do. At some point early in the game you will get the pulse skill, which is probably the best skill in the game. It allows you to spot enemies, which is very useful for about any situation. Now for the next mission you should choose a tech mission. This mission will grant you supplies to buy the turret, which is, again, one of the best skills in the game. I personally use the turret and pulse, both very good, both very easy to get. Now at some point you will find out about the Dark Zone, a PvE or sometimes PvP area. In the Dark Zone you can find some amazing supplies. I suggest going there after you've acquired both of the skills mentioned earlier, or at least get the pulse skill. You can go there for items if you want to, but I'll touch on the Dark Zone in another video. Now it's time for weapons and gear. When you are about level 1 to 7, you will probably only use white and green items. There are different colors of items to determine an item's quality. From worst to best you have white, green, blue, purple and gold. There are some rare cases when white items are better than the green ones, but most of the time the better quality also has better, well, qualities. Before we go on, I want to address an important point. When you've found better items and you've still got unused items in your inventory, then think twice before selling them. You can craft different kinds of items, and most of the time the craftable items are better than the bought items. So this is how it works. You can sell the quality that you don't use. For instance, I'm on blue and I sell all of my greens. Now when I get a blue item, I use X to deconstruct the item into things like fabric or weapon parts. You can also find these parts in purple areas of the game, like this one. Now for the biggest question, which weapons should you use? Most of the time, even early in the game, you are able to craft some sort of Marksman Rifle. Now if you see something like this, where it says plus 100 something headshot damage, then I highly recommend it. I have one of them right now and I'm picking off enemies with my own level with 1 or 2 well placed shots. Now you might argue that it does a lower amount of damage per second, but that number doesn't account for the extra things like extra headshot damage or more critical hit chance. So always inspect a new weapon or any other item before you decide to throw it away. Also, if you press tab by default when aiming, you will actually look through the scope, which is very useful for aiming. Now for your secondary weapon, I suggest anything that has a medium to high rate of fire. I don't really have one standout weapon, but I've got an SMG myself with considerable power, but it also has a plus 17% critical hit chance, which is very good. Now for your pistol, well, there aren't a lot of great pistols out there. Just pick the highest damaging one that has the talent so it does 100% more damage if the enemy has just 30% or less health. This enables you to finish enemies when a rifle headshot doesn't quite dispose of them. Now what about the gear? Well, you might be surprised that it can be complicated sometimes. The biggest mistake people make is just get the gear with the highest ARM score. But ARM stands for armor. But you also have firearms, which make you deal more damage, health, which, surprise, grant you more health, and electronics, which increases your skill power. You should always inspect the other quality that some items have. For instance, I have a Marksman Rifle and I've got gloves with arguably low armor, but it also has a plus 210 Marksman Rifle damage. Also, when you see a group of enemies that are about your level, just fight them. They will drop items which you can use, deconstruct or sell, so it's always worth to do some fighting. So now you've got a rifle which offs enemy with a headshot, an SMG or something like that when they get too close, and some gear that maximizes your weapon's capabilities. You should be ready to kick some ass in more of the main missions. Success! I hope this video helped you get started on the Division. Next week I will be tackling the basics of the Dark Zone, so subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again in the future.